What is the scariest conspiracy theory if true? That Planet X is real, orbits like a comet, and so enters the solar system at infrequent intervals, and is home to intelligent life that's affected past human civilizations. That AskReddit questions about conspiracy theories are periodically posted by the government to measure how close the general public is to uncovering the truth. Terror organizations are funded and supported as an alternate form of war by shadow governments. It's quiet in space because something incredibly evil and horrific is snuffing out advanced life once it starts colonizing other worlds. You'd like the Dark Forest trilogy, based around the concept that your species is safer in the dark of space. Declaring your position is essentially an invitation for more advanced species to find and do what they will with you. We are all just code in a simulation, being run by a far more intelligent species who is trying to determine why humans died out long ago. They run the simulation to cover millions of years to pinpoint the moments where we went wrong and to learn why civilization crumbled to prevent the same fate from taking them. When we die, our code is either terminated entirely or is reproposed into another life in a form of digital reincarnation. That social media information gathering gathers so much data on your personality that it allows effective social engineering, changing how you think, how you shop, how you vote, which has a chain effect of you teaching the same things to your kids, family, friends etc. Yes, that's exactly how it works. AI tries to predict what you want to see, so it prioritizes things similar to what you engage with, what you react to, how it thinks you will react. And the more you engage, the more you tell about yourself. People are pretty predictable. There was a problem with Facebook AI being so good at predicting who was gay that it outed a lot of people before they came out to their families through ad suggestions, etc. But it tries to figure out who you are a little, then guide you toward a bubble and cluster you with others. That in turn engineers you to be someone who can be defined easily for advertising. People feed into this bubbling. They know they'll get the most clicks if rather than type, "Trump makes decent point on economy," the headline is, "Trump owns Democrats." Just wait for the news feeds, and news sources do the same. They aggregate what you like and try to give you news that fits what you'd like to hear, keeping you engaged, predicting your bubble, defining it, and keeping you in it, so you pay attention enough to engage with their advertisers. With all this information, politicians can use social media to influence you, flood you with confusing and false information that distracts you from actual facts, and target you with efficiency. The AI can predict people's voting tendencies based on what news they consume, so they can gerrymander based on highly accurate data, so you can't escape easily to moderation. It wants you in extremes. My favorite is to watch a reasonable conservative argument video on YouTube. Then, watch the recommendations or autoplay go to the next video, which slowly seeks to indoctrinate me into their viewpoint to the point where I end up watching just some of the most vile hate videos out there. It's all real and being used against us. I think the trick is to know that it's happening, and that you can make a choice to be independent from it, and you can make a difference without being controlled by it. You can be involved with your communities and local government, and not have your conversations dictated by what they tell you, but how you interact with the people around you. You can spend less time in front of the Black Mirror and more time just listening to others, or reading important works. Stay informed. Read the news for a little bit every day. Try to understand stories from multiple sides, not just two. Use social media to follow artists you like, or family, and not to get your news. Don't leave 24-hour news on all day, unless you work in the news world. Based on the idea of the Fermi paradox and the Great Filter, it's that there is a lot of alien life out there, but we don't hear or see any of it, because the ones that still exist know to keep quiet, as there is some greater alien force or technology that hunts and destroys civilizations. That every UFO that has been reported is actually a part of one of the government's black budget secret programs, which get over $60 billion in funding each year, and that the government has created such a stigma around UFOs and aliens that it would be entirely feasible for them to create the ultimate false flag event. Think 911X. 1 million. to make the populace believe there is an actual alien invasion happening, so they can either A. create a situation that would help pull the world together, or B. give them an excuse to pour hundreds of billions of dollars more into the military program without the people questioning it. Edit. It's a false flag, not a red flag. That the government has a deal with aliens that they are allowed to abduct and probe us in exchange for technology. That the rich elite have grown bored of mundane highs and delights in murder, rape, sacrifice and hunt humans for entertainment. They do it because they are so rich they can buy anything they want and it doesn't satisfy them. They are attracted to morbid, disgusting and crude art, music, and hobbies. Panama Papers, around 11 million leaked documents showing a lot of money laundering, tax evasion, money being secretly handed off to terrorist organizations, offshore accounts being used to hide crimes, including theft and at least one instance of rape of underage orphans. Lot of fun researching that one. Mostly all from the world's top 1% or government officials. You always hear about human trafficking and never about who is buying all these people. It's a scary thought that when people, especially children, are kidnapped and sold, they're really being shipped to the people at the tippy top of world governments. So the collapse of civilization is often labeled as a conspiracy theory. Case in point, Recalapse is a conspiracy sub. I think the basis for this is that the sub feels all public estimates of the rate of climate change and general environmental collapse and the eventual consequences have been downplayed by world governments to avoid panic. Scientists, due to reticence and the high standards of scientific evidence, and business interests, because negativity is bad for business. If true, I don't think anything could be scarier than the hard road ahead of us toward human extinction. That Australia doesn't exist, because I have family there. That there is a small town in mid-Michigan that somehow consumes more power than Grand Rapids, Michigan. That a selective group of few men and women control the entire world politics while hiding in shadows through puppet politicians. What I'm about to tell you is top secret. There's a powerful group of people out there that are secretly running the world. I'm talking about the guys no one knows about, the guys who are invisible. The top 1% of the top 1%. The guys that play God without permission. Everyone secretly dislikes you and is just pretending to be your friend. That there are no great conspiracies or cabals. That there is no grand scheme or plan. That no one, not even an evil someone, is at the wheel, and that leaders and government are essentially the geopolitical equivalent of every adult simply being a kid who feels like they are pretending to be an adult. I feel like this would scare more people if we were honest. People who believe ridiculous things are comforted by the idea they understand that they have some explanation for the world. If there was no secret, no layers of mystery, they'd feel lost. That's ultimately why I believe religion, cults, conspiracy theories, etc. all exist, because the reality is actually too much to bear. The world is chaos, the universe is chaos, and our attempts to make sense of it is what causes our issues. We are self-aware primates with the ability for abstract thought, which has helped us succeed beyond our wildest dreams, but it's also led to unfathomable problems. We fight about skin color, genitals, issues of reproduction, how we obtain energy, etc. Our brains can fail, our immune systems can attack us. If we aren't held as infants we will die, if we drink too much water we will die, etc. There is so much chaos and randomness, and our brains have us expect order in a world that offers none. Every religion has schisms. Our brains will create false realities to fill in gaps. We can only perceive minuscule amount of the information being fed to us by our environment. The Ninth Circle Cult, UK, the Finders Cult, global, the hamster child abuse scandal. That Theresa May destroyed the Westminster child abuse dossier to protect herself and friends. European royals hosting human hunting parties. That the US Customs Agency trafficked children in the 70s 80s including Amy Billig. That Johnny Gosh, first kid on a milk carton, was one of the rent boys George Bush was investigated for hiring at the White House decades later and was brainwashed. Jersey Island is where the rich European politicians go to sleep with kill-trafficked children. I was thinking the same about the human trafficking that is rumored about in American politics. I think human trafficking is proof enough that there are people in this world rich enough that they can get away with anything, and so they do. Not that there isn't awful regular people trafficking others, but I think it had to have had a lot of powerful people backing it initially to have it be so organized and big now. The agreement between hot dog manufacturers and bread bakers to always sell their products in different quantities, e.g. hot dogs in 10 packs and buns in 8 packs. Don't go to the light, it's the trap, the light at the end of the tunnel that people report seeing when they have near-death experiences is to be avoided, because that's how they get you. They are some unscrupulous aliens who installed a soul-collecting machine on the moon or something. The scary thing for me is the idea that you can be tricked into enslaving yourself in the afterlife as soon as you die. They are here. They have been here for a long time. They aren't all nice. That the fluoride in the water is giving my son beach titties. I actually don't believe this one and I think it's pretty loopy, but here it is. Some people believe that Earth is an enslaved planet that serves as a feeding ground for a superior alien race, except not feeding in the sense of meat, but that they apparently feed off our negative emotions, fear, and anger specifically. The reason that we have not made contact with aliens is not because they aren't out there, but because they are purposefully being quiet, because they are aware of some other large threat. I know your tricks. This is just the government trying to see if we know about their secrets. I think flat Earth. If that is true, then almost everything I know is a lie. That you're stuck in a coma and all attempts to reach you to get you out of it are real. The past never existed. The future will never exist. Only the present is real. My son, on this the day of your birth I must reveal to you this eternal wisdom to guide you during your remaining days. Forget the future, you cannot predict it. Forget the past, you cannot change it. Forget the present, I didn't get you one. What if somewhere in this thread there is a whistleblower who is saying a conspiracy Hesh knows to be true, but would be in danger if it was exposed publicly, so they post it here hoping someone looks into it, like a call for help. That the Republic is under control of a Sith Lord. Aside whole life is a simulation, we are alone and stuff. I think the scariest one is that government has mind control capabilities. Seeing just how easily some people are influenced by simple things in media just freaks me the duck out. Some people are influenced by simple things in media, some people are dumb and gullible. That's not a secret. But when you see intelligent people acting dumb, insane, mindless, or violent, then you have to worry. That the US government has web influencers on Reddit as we speak. You act like this isn't already true. It's also true for Russia, GB, France, Germany, China, India and many more. Almost any country with a functional intelligence apparatus tries to influence social media. That Atlantis is real. Humans are a species with amnesia, and we had civilizations arise before us that fell hard enough to send us back to the Stone Age. Pretty terrifying. Remnants of modern civilization would only last about 10,000 years, and that's only for our largest structures, like the Hoover Dam. We can't learn from our old mistakes if there isn't a history to study. That elite pedophilia is very real and much deeper than we think. That branches of the CIA only job is to get politicians to duck kids so they can be easily controlled. If you doubt this, go read about Ted Gunderson, an FBI agent who was investigating a pedophile ring that led to the White House and Washington DC. Edit, spelling added Ted Gunderson. That the government knows of and is covering up people disappearing under very mysterious circumstances, primarily in national parks. Look up David Paulide's Missing 411. For anyone who has read up on this, WTF is the deal with the staircases?